Hello, welcome everyone. Today we are going to talk about how AI can be used in mobile gaming, and Jam will be joining me in this discussion. Just to introduce myself, my name is Az. I am one of the founders of Talentum AI, which later became UA Hero. We have done several AI solutions for gaming and other industries as Talentum AI. And since the beginning of last year, we are fully focused on in the gaming industry. Cem, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Cem. I am lead data scientist in UA Hero. I have experiences in both academia and industry. So, for example, in academia, I worked on active learning and distributed systems and etc. For the industry, I tried to implement machine learning solutions for different industries, and recently I decided to go for the gaming industry. Sometime with Oğuz, we are doing our best to keep our customers up to date with the latest machine learning models to improve their performances actually.
Nice. We decided to do this talk because as we met different people in the industry relevant to our product or in other things that Cem will mention now, often get questions about how AI can be used, some tips about how to start, what can be done and what cannot be done. So we think this will be a very interesting conversation. So, Cem, what comes to mind when you say AI in gaming? What's the first thing?
Yeah, I guess since the beginning of time, not time, but the digital world, let's say, for especially mathematicians and computer scientists, playing games by computer programs is a very interesting topic. So in general, for example, starting from a simple game of tic-tac-toe up to chess and Go and shogi and etc. Computer scientists and artificial intelligence people in general interested in solving these problems with computers. So we have some achievements in the past. For example, for chess in 1997, IBM Deep Blue computer program beat the reigning world champion Garry Kasparov in a series of chess games, and that's one win for the computer world. And it's interesting because let's say we can actually say that we solved the problem of chess in a sense. And then after 20 years, we have this achievement by DeepMind, an Alphabet company. So they actually solved the game of Go and beat the European champion as well as the world champion. And then this leads an interesting era of artificial intelligence for us. So playing games is really important. And by transition from this argument, we can say that playing mobile games by computer programs is also interesting. So not only the desktop games, but also not only these kind of chess, shogi, or desktop games, but also mobile games can be played by computer-generated bots. And gameplay is kind of automatized by algorithms like reinforcement learning and etc. So we can give players a challenge. We can use these game bots to engage people in the game, find a good match, give them a challenge.
So to summarize, the beginning of all this started with just matching human intelligence, playing as good as human and being better than human. Mm-hmm. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, going for the...
And eventually, as technology advanced, now I think in almost every game, either can beat us or it's on the way. Eventually it will.
Yeah.
But when we did bots at Talentum, the goal wasn't just to beat the player, not to be a better opponent, because that can be boring. Like if I'm sure everybody played with opponents game or in real life in a sport where the opponent is just much better than you. It takes out the fun, and the whole point of the game is to have fun. So so it's a tricky situation when you have a opponents programmed by AI in a game. So for the most part, you want the real purpose is to make it enjoyable. Do you have any? How would you make sure that the bot is not always beating you?
That's
But
an interesting
making
question, and luckily for our audience, we have an experience building these kind of bots in the past. So in general, these kind of algorithms trying to do their best. So in a sense, when trained, they aim for the highest score or try to beat any player that they oppose to, but adjusting the difficulties or improving the experience is kind of an art in here. So we can do different things. For example, we can train a perfect bot and then give them wrong inputs, or perturbate its outputs, or etc. Mess around with the decisions, and this can in some sense lower their IQ in a sense. Yeah. Other than that, we can use stochasticity and other kind of random sources to make it possible, or even, I mean, we can train up to some point. Let's say, yeah, a couple of epochs we trained, and then we can test the bot if it is suitable or not, and we can utilize it in the production environment.
So basically, letting the bot not learn to the fullest, but to make it.
Yeah.
And how would you decide which level of difficulty to provide to which player? So in terms of game experience.
Okay, so I mean, let's talk about
so this would require
general game.
This would require, I think, understanding each player and how to challenge them.
In general, let's say we have groupings in users in user segmentation space. So we can divide users by their playing styles or their behaviors and challenges. How long does it take for particular users to pass a level, or etc. So these kind of different indicators allow us to divide user space into several segments. And we can understand by taking representative users from each segment, what are they doing, and etc. So they are just a representative of their neighborhood. And then we have an idea about what kind of things that these users are encountering. For example, sort of some levels are really difficult for them, and then maybe we can make that specific arrangement, or maybe we can recommend them some particular power-ups, give them freely even, to keep them engaged in the game. Also, we can think about level design as a building blocks game, right? If you have a building blocks kind of level design, so you can arrange your building blocks by the preferences of users, like the segmentation of users, not the preference, but the behavior. And then you can mess around with the level design, and you can adjust the levels by the users. And even for the infinite games, for example, I mean, I really like this example. It is not really artificial intelligence, but in some sense, the Space Invaders game that dates really back, like 70s or 60s, I don't know. Really old Atari game, I guess. So it has basically infinite levels. They have some sort of notion, but right now we can use these algorithms and etc. to make it even more interesting, continuous level design and such things.
Nice.
I mean, maybe we can even talk about user engagement, experience improvement besides these. other than level design, like, you know, power up recommendations, promotion recommendations, understanding the users that will churn, maybe even try to keep them in the loop.
I see. And as you understand the users better, now let's get into the let's get into the business part of things. If you're a mobile gaming company, then what's the first thing that comes to mind for benefiting from machine learning AI?
Yeah. So up to now, let's say fun. We did the fun. We played the game, and we watched our bot playing the game, or we watched our computer algorithm analyzing users, and etc. From now on, let's talk about business. So business means money, and the first indication of money in a game is revenue, and specifically average revenue per user, ARPU, or maybe even lifetime value. So for most of hyper casual games, they have a trend. They have comparably short lifespans for like other games, casuals and puzzles and etc. So in that case, understanding the change in LTV and ARPU levels are really crucial. So this basically affects your revenues directly. So for my side, I really would like to understand if my LTV is going up or down by analyzing recent cohorts. Let's say our LTV is 30 days, but we have our campaign running for some time. But the recent cohorts, we don't know. We know them up to some point. Let's say one of them is for one period, the other one is 2 periods, and etc. So we need to predict their revenues, and hence afterwards compare their ARPU or LTV levels, understand the changes in ARPDAU and retention, so that we can model the increase or decrease in LTV, and this makes our campaigns run more smoothly, actually. Because if you can detect an increase in LTV, then this means that for keeping your ROAS target, you can give more bids, right? I mean, you can increase your bid levels, increase your CPS to afford more than you currently have. And this is nice, yeah, if you are doing this accurately. And also the other way is also true. I mean, if your LTV is on the decline, then you need to lower your bids on that crucial time in order to meet your ROAS goals. So this is very important. So maybe we can talk about this.
So as you see, Cem went into a lot of detail because this is what UA Hero does, and he really enjoys working on this. So what we do in UA Hero is do all the LTV predictions for different segments, for different granularity of networks, geographies, and such, and then adjust the bids and budgets of advertising campaigns based on these LTV predictions to hit the ROAS targets and to maximize profits for the mobile gaming company. Cem, what do you think about doing machine learning in such a this kind of environment versus other industries which you work for?
That's an interesting question. So yeah, I mean, I had the chance to work in several industries, and I can say that gaming is one of the most interesting ones because of the players in the game. Not only the players that play the game, but the studios, publishers, and etc. I mean, in this industry, everyone is really joyful because I guess
the people.
Yeah, the people.
Yeah,
the people.
That's why we focused in gaming.
Yeah, I mean, this makes your life easier because I mean, you can communicate better, you can make interesting products, you can have feedback back and forth with the customers and etc. So this is one side. The other side is about the data and the environment. So basically, for example, if you are building bots, gameplay bots, you are like like you are working in Matrix, right? You have this Neo character in your game that can do everything, for example, but you train this and you have a coffee, you watch the bot playing with other players, and you say that, yeah, my bot is beating everyone. That's really interesting. So this is really cool because you build something and you immediately see the effect of what you built. This is nice. The other one is about data, not only in-game data, but also the marketing data, like the data we get from MMPs and ad networks and etc. They are really useful for us to make predictions, build statistical models, and estimate the future. I mean, maybe we can say that the variance is a bit more compared to other industries in here, especially in hyper-casual genre. But
because of the human factor.
yeah, I mean, we have more humans in the loop actually, so that's why the variance is higher, I guess.
Go on.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you can add something to it. I mean, you are working in AI industry for more than 5 years.
Yeah, it's definitely the most fun group of people to work with. So we enjoy it with all of our partners, customers, and I would say the problems that you see in a game are kind of in parallel to what you see in the real world. It's just more controlled. The data can be collected because everything is digital. So these are very good advantages. Did we leave out any other things that you think can be done with AI in mobile games? We had discussed bots, some level design,
level design,
prediction, marketing optimization.
yeah, I guess. I mean, the main idea is like improve the customer's journey throughout your game, both in the game and outside the game, so that you have increased your revenues and etc. Maybe we can say that, I mean, we take a lesson in general in this genre, in this industry, let's say. Doing continuous A/B tests are really important because once you build something and put on production, you need to quantify the effect of it. So let's say we improved your bots and we claim that the user engagement is increased. We need to verify this from the user level data, in-house databases, or I mean, we need to see some improvement in revenues, for example, so that we can verify, so we can compare different types, or maybe even this bid budget campaign optimization stuff. You have an algorithm to estimate ARPU, like you can do simulation backwards to understand your error, but also the future decisions of the algorithm is also important. So A/B test is really crucial, maybe we can say.
I see. And what do you suggest for a company or a like data scientist or a software engineer that wants to actually utilize AI in his game or in his business? Let's say with a bot or with LTV.
Okay.
Anyone.
I will answer this from the nerd geek side, and you will answer afterwards. You will answer this as an entrepreneur. Okay. So let's think about this. What you are doing is basically mathematics. So you build models to understand the world or users better. What you generally do is regression, probabilistic or not, I don't know. But in general, you need to start from the very basics. You need to understand how to build models, how to estimate the error or goodness of fits in these models. So regardless of you doing simple linear regression or really complicated deep neural networks, you need to estimate or have an idea about, you know, how much will these models perform in a production ready environment. So this is really important, understanding the accuracy.
Just can you give an idea, like in what you are working on now, for example, LTV prediction?
Yeah.
What's the production environment like? How many different cases does it need to work on? Or how do you make sure that everything is working over time?
Yeah. I mean, in yeah, let's say for me it is really important to understand the error histograms in general. I try to keep a chronological level of integrated data, so that, you know, for example, if my algorithm works with like, okay, take these kind of previous periods, predict something, I need to do a simulation from start to the end. And then I need to understand the error histograms. I mean, simple R squares or mean squared errors or mean absolute errors are not really, I mean, they are helpful to compare some algorithms, but in general, I want my algorithms to have really, I mean, high density near zero. I don't want my algorithms to have long tails, because then campaign optimization becomes a mess. This is one thing. The other one is like creating simple but effective models, because if you create complicated models, then the world changes. Maybe when we think about pandemics, you know, huge amount of increase in the gameplays, and etc. So we have a change in behavior. So, for example, a complicated model takes more time, more data to adjust this new behavior, but simpler models, simpler but effective models, let's say, they adjust them easy. So maybe we can, the new people or the people that want to learn this field should focus on these kind of simple but effective models firstly, and then build on
So
them.
in summary, you should have start with simpler techniques and get more complicated, more advanced techniques. And you may not need the advanced techniques anyway. And also you don't have to choose, isn't that right? You can use multiple models and track their effectiveness.
Exactly. Benchmarking is really
can,
important. You need to compare
yes.
different models.
But in summary, like everything that Jam has been building, all the LTV predictions or any of these, there's a lot of testing involved. And every day, every hour, whenever there's a new data, all the algorithms are tested, their performance is checked. Of course, I mean, the Jam builds also tools that do this. He doesn't do it manually.
I mean,
But
let's say me and
everything is
the team, not only me, but we have a team of people, data scientists doing this. So it's easier for me when working with, you know, very brilliant minds. These things are not really that much problem.
and do you think some of these can be, do they all have to be built in-house, or some of them can be like if there's for you, if there's an available tool or some library that Google or DeepMind built, then it's in general better to leverage as much as possible what's already built and build upon that. Would you agree?
Yeah, that's correct. That's really.
How much effort do you think is to do a project or a solution, like adding a bot or doing some kind of production level LTV design for a team, so they can decide if they should do the hiring of data scientists and build it themselves, or actually use a solution like a provider like us, or in a different topic, someone else?
I see. So in general, this field, I mean, let's say the marketing side and maybe the churns and in-game engagements, maybe not the bots, but these kind of things, they require a kind of a skill set or mindset of a detective. So you have a problem, you need to solve it. You have some clues, but the clues may be inconclusive, irrelevant. Some of them are correlated but not causative. So you need to understand these things. So in general, if you have a kind of matured data scientists in your team that worked with different kinds of data, it is relatively easy to adjust yourself. But in general, especially these days, finding good seniors might be a problem. So outsourcing some problems, I mean, maybe university industry, you know, joint works of university and industry is also important, because there are really brilliant PhD students in universities and we can really utilize them in our problems. Yeah, so let's say it's hybrid, depending on the context of the team, the structure of the team, and the experience of the team.
And what do you suggest data scientists working on such projects in different gaming companies, how to improve themselves? Where should they look for resources? Or
Mm-hmm.
of course, they can always contact us, you. Or...
Yeah, I mean, we are really responsive, by the way. Yeah, I mean, this is not just for this talk, but in general, we try to help fresh grads. I mean, people from industry who want to learn machine learning or data science. Most of the time, they need a mentor or some kind of leads to start on, and we are really happy to help them. For my take, this is this area, machine learning or understanding of statistics, is needed to be learned from university as a like part of the computer science program, electronics engineering program, etc. This is
fundamentals.
Yeah, fundamentals, grad or undergrad level. So we need to learn the basics, and there are nice books in the field. So these books are need to be read thoroughly. Probably there are nice lectures on YouTube. I mean, most of the time it's not really important to pay pay the platforms that give online courses, because YouTube has really interesting courses from well-known universities and well-known professors, so we can utilize them. And yeah, basically it's, I mean, we need to get the data, work with it, play with it, and yeah, improve on this.
Okay.
What is your suggestion or recommendation for these kind of people?
I think we should put a blog post about how to find different resources. And we had this in mind for a while, but didn't just get a chance yet.
Okay, that might
so
be.
So now that we said it, we have to do it for everyone.
Yeah, that's correct. So yeah, I have this idea about general engineering principles in data science kind of blog post. Maybe this might be a bit relevant. We have interesting blogs, by the way. I mean, the audience may wonder, you can go to UA Heroes blogs and read a couple of them. Yeah, one of them is like really closely tied with this talk, like AI in gaming. This might be of interest.
Great. So I think we ran out of time, so we don't really have time for questions, but feel free to contact me or Jam on our website or on LinkedIn or anywhere you want. And thank you, Jam, for the conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
Helpful for some people.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, we are happy to contact with new people, answer the questions, new kind of partnerships and etc. possibility. And then thank you all again, and thank you the amazing people of this conference to happily invite us. Okay, goodbye then.
Goodbye.